Hello, I'm Nelson Williams for GameOgre.com. A funny thing sometimes happens at gaming websites like GameOgre.com. Like any business, they have schedules and plans in the queue weeks in advance waiting for their turn at the plate. Then a game like Dungeon Defenders comes along and blows the schedules to hell. Dungeon Defenders is a tower defense game that's a little bit Diablo and a little bit rock and roll. The basic story is that the great heroes of the land defeated a terrible evil and sealed its power away inside a big magical crystal. Since smiting evil racks up a ton of vacation time, the heroes then promptly packed up and bailed out to go visit the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. This left their kids in charge of the castle, which was the exact opposite of a smart move, as demonstrated when the youngsters started playing football with Daddy's crystal as sealed evil. One fumble on a stone castle floor later, and the forces of darkness are banging on the door, demanding cookies, milk, and the blood of all that lives. The gameplay in Dungeon Defenders is broken up into two phases. The build phase involves throwing down towers, with each of the four classes having a special type of tower equivalent. The apprentice raises up magical shooty towers, the squire drops excessively spiky obstacles, the huntress plays with explosives, and the monk emits highly antisocial energy zones. Then comes the combat phase, when the doors crack open and everything horrible rolls out. Enemies come in a rainbow of flavors, from the simple goblin on up to the brick wall with a club that is the ogre. For extra bonus fun, some enemies have elemental powers, which means they walk straight through towers that rely on that elemental effect. I haven't seen them give me the finger when they dance through my fireball tower, but I know they're thinking it. Here's where the Diablo shows up. Enemies drop loot, usually mana gems that you can spend to power your defenses and special abilities. But sometimes, you'll cut down a goblin in his Sunday best and now you've got a new pair of boots. This loot is randomly generated, so maybe those boots have all the power of a wet paper bag, or maybe they're the God Stompers, divine face kickers of Lord Eat Your Head. Kitting yourself out in the best gear is vital to your success, so it's a good thing you don't have to rely on random drops alone. You can also buy gear from Ogden, the tavern keeper, as well as from shops run by other players. You can buy a kitty! Let's take a look at Dungeon Defenders in action. Here we are in Dungeon Defenders. I'm playing a squire. Ta-da! Say hello.
Hello.
And I have my kitty with me. That white glowy thing right there is my Eternia crystal, the core of the level. I have to defend this from a rush of horrible, horrible monsters. Right here is my Defender Forge, where I can access my equipment, swap out heroes, level up, and do other such things. Right now we are in the build phase, which means we can build our traps and defenses to keep back the inexorable tide of darkness. I've already gone through a couple levels of this particular dungeon here, so I have a few defenses already built up. And there's a couple mana crystals on the ground from previous slaughter. Let's crack open a chest and see what's inside. Ah, more crystals and goodies. It's not a very good goodie, so I'll just grab it and stick it in my storage box. Here's some armor. There's its stats, and you can see my stats. Yeah, that armor's going in the box. And one more treasure chest to grab. Hey, more goodies. Ah, they suck. And nah. Into the box with you. Alright, so let's drop down some defenses. Now the squire basically works on, well, defensive defenses. Things that block access. Things that stop people from getting places. Other classes have more offensive things like explosives or magical clawed hands that fire gouts of flame. But we just got siege weapons. Like this bouncer blockade. Bonk. This thing is hilarious. It's basically a giant wheel of spikes that throws anything near it around. Monsters walk up and get blown across the entire level. It's pretty hilarious. And we'll drop another one down here. These stairs control the access up there to that balcony where my crystal is. By blocking off the stairs, I can prevent the monsters from getting to my crystal. Which would be the idea if there weren't these doors over here. Now, I've already defended them with these bouncer blockades. So why not summon a bowling ball turret as well? I don't know if the turret will shoot through that blockade there, but what the heck. Anytime you could roll a bowling ball down some stairs at a bunch of monsters, it's an opportunity worth taking. As you can see, the Squire is not the speediest of classes. I've got a considerable number of speed increases in me. And even still, I'm a little slow. Bing. There we go. That's what we call defense in depth. That does it for our build phase, so let's bring on the monsters. Combat phase. Now, see that purple the monsters are walking through? That's the darkness. Monsters in the darkness are invulnerable, so you don't want to waste your time attacking them there. Ah yes, my defense is in action. You can see them knocking the monsters around. Let's go get involved ourselves, shall we? As a melee character, the Squire is wildly overpowered in close combat. Oh, grab, grab. Stand on your head. Ha ha ha! Yay! Level victory! Activating the crystal would take us on to the next level, which means we don't get to grab all this mana on the ground. Actually, we do. You move on to the next level, it sucks everything up for you. But that just isn't any fun when you can, you know, listen to it roll in like this. But let's go get it done. Up and to the crystal. And there's our stats. Yes, my character's name is Metalface. You can kind of see why. A considerable number of awards, probably because I'm all by my lonesome. I especially like Chillax. Move the least distance in the wave. That's a good one. It's rare that a game jams the gears of the well-oiled machine that is GameOgre, but Dungeon Defenders was a total spanner in the works. The mix of tower defense gameplay, multiple classes, and Diablo-esque pretty princess dress-me-up, loot grinding, combines 3 addictive chemicals into one potent cocktail. The game does have problems though. It's hard to tell what an ability does, even on your character sheet, so sometimes you have to just guess and hope you're spending those precious level up points in the right place. Giving players their own personal stores is a great idea, but it's impossible to see what a given store has without joining the game. A generic cross-server auction house would have been a much better solution. Another issue is the leveling speed. The usual leveling curve is here and the pace is fine, which isn't the problem. The problem is that you have to be very extremely really tippy-toes careful about what games you join, since there doesn't seem to be any controls on leeching XP. Playing around, I saw a fellow go from level suck to punching the cap in just a few hours by joining a high-level game. Of course, he then helped me cheese through a map that was kicking my teeth in, so maybe it's a wash. Dungeon Defenders is a quick, fun little game that's a great way to waste the precious, irreplaceable seconds of your finite and dwindling life, especially if you can bring in some friends to get all multiplayer up-ins. 4 highly different classes add replay value, and character customization makes it easy to shift things into a playstyle that works for you. Even still, There is one word of advice for new players, wisdom that holds truth no matter what class or playstyle you choose. It is knowledge, pure in form and blessed in kind. This pure truth is thus: fear the ogre!